He's finally back. And the Heartland Ranch hasn't felt this alive in years. The moment fans have been waiting for has arrived. A familiar face has returned to Hudson, stirring emotions, memories, and a wave of hope that reminds us why this show holds such a special place in our hearts. Something has shifted in Season 19, Episode 2, and it's more than just another storyline. It's the return of love, loss, and family all colliding once again under the wide Alberta sky. Season 19 opens with a quiet calm at the ranch. But if you followed Heartland long enough, you know that peace in Hudson never lasts long. The first episode set the tone, Amy finding her rhythm again, Lindy growing bolder by the day, and Jack keeping everyone grounded with his timeless wisdom. But Episode 2 changes everything. There's a new energy in the air, something that pulls us right back to the magic of the early seasons. The moment the truck pulled up on that long dirt road, fans knew something big was about to happen. For years, the Heartland family has been moving forward, healing from loss, holding on to each other, and learning to find new meaning in old memories. But there's always been one piece missing. That silent space at the dinner table, that look in Amy's eyes when she stares off toward the hills, a quiet reminder of someone who once made this ranch feel whole. In Episode 2, that empty space is finally filled again. The camera lingers just long enough for us to see the shock, the tears, and the flood of emotions that come rushing back. This episode doesn't just bring back a character, it brings back history. It feels like the writers wanted to honor every fan who's stuck with the show since the beginning. From the music that softly plays in the background to the familiar shots of the barn and the fields at sunrise, everything feels like a love letter to the past. And then comes the moment that changes everything. The door opens, and standing there is the person everyone thought they'd never see again. No fancy introduction, no big speech. Just that quiet, emotional silence that Heartland does so well. You can feel the weight of all those lost years in one look, but this return isn't just about nostalgia. It's about moving forward. The ranch has changed. Amy has grown stronger, Lindy is finding her voice, and everyone has learned to carry their pain in new ways. So, when this character steps back into their lives, it isn't just a happy reunion. It's a collision of old wounds and new beginnings. And that's what makes this episode so powerful. We also get to see how the return ripples through the rest of the family. Jack's face says it all, part joy, part disbelief, and a little fear. Because Jack knows that in Heartland, every return comes with its own storm. Lou, ever the protector, worries what this means for Amy and Lindy, and Tim? He's cautious, though you can tell he feels a mix of guilt and relief. It's like everyone's been holding their breath for this moment, and now that it's here, they don't quite know how to exhale. Fans have waited for this kind of emotional payoff for years. It's not just about bringing someone back, it's about reigniting the warmth, the tension, and the soul that made Heartland more than just a show. It's a story about family, the kind that never gives up, even when life takes everything away. And in this episode, we see that truth come alive again. The writers didn't rush this return. They built it slowly, with hints in earlier episodes, quiet mentions in conversations, and that feeling that something or someone was missing. When it finally happens, it feels earned. It feels like closure and a fresh start all at once. This return isn't only about one person, it's about what they represent, hope, healing, and the idea that sometimes, no matter how far you drift, home is always waiting. As the episode ends and the music swells under the Alberta sunset, you can almost feel the fans' hearts breaking and mending at the same time. This is the Heartland. We've been missing, emotional, grounded, and deeply human. And now, with this long-awaited return, Season 19 is shaping up to be one of the most powerful chapters yet. Episode 2 of Heartland. Season 19 begins with a sense of quiet anticipation, that kind of stillness right before life changes forever. The morning sun stretches across the ranch, bathing the barns and the distant hills in gold, and everything feels peaceful. Almost too peaceful. Amy is out in the paddock with Lindy, teaching her how to guide Spartan with a gentle hand, reminding her, it's not about control, it's about connection. It's such a simple line, but it captures everything Heartland stands for. And then, just as the moment settles, a familiar sound echoes in the distance, the rumble of a truck pulling up the long dirt road. Amy looks up, squinting against the light. She knows that sound. We all do. The camera slows down, every second stretching like forever. Jack steps out from the barn, wiping his hands on his gloves, and Lou walks up from the house, sensing the same strange energy. The truck door opens, and there he is. The person we all thought was gone for good. The person whose story felt finished long ago. He's finally back. The reunion isn't loud or dramatic. There are no shouting matches or long speeches. Instead, there's this haunting silence, the kind that says more than words ever could. Amy freezes. Lindy doesn't understand what's happening, but she looks at her mom and senses the change. You can almost feel Amy's heart breaking and healing at the same time. Her eyes fill with tears, but she doesn't move. She just whispers, "Is it really you?" And when he nods, you can see years of pain and unanswered questions melt into something softer. Forgiveness, maybe, or just the beginning of it. Jack, as always, is the first to step forward. His voice trembles a little when he says, "It's been a long time." The returning character nods quietly. His voice rough. "Too long." It's such a small exchange, but it carries the weight of everything that's been lost, and the hope that maybe, just maybe, something can be rebuilt. As the episode moves forward, we see how this unexpected return shakes the family to its core. Lou tries to stay practical, asking questions no one else wants to ask. Where have you been? Why now? Tim struggles with old guilt resurfacing, hiding behind his usual tough attitude. But it's Amy who carries the emotional heart of this episode. You can see her wrestling with memories, the joy of what once was and the pain of what was lost. The writers do a brilliant job showing this not through dialogue, but through silence, through small moments, like Amy staring at an old photo on the fireplace, or walking alone by the river where so many key moments in Heartland's history took place. Meanwhile, Lindy, innocent and curious, asks the kind of question only a child could. "Mom, is he staying?" It's simple, but it cuts deep, because that's what everyone in Heartland and every fan watching wants to know. Is this return temporary, or is it the start of something new? Throughout the episode, there's a delicate balance between the past and the present. The returning character isn't here to erase the pain or pretend nothing happened. He's here to face it, to make peace, to explain, and to reconnect. There's a moving scene by the barn where he tells Amy, "I didn't come back to change the past. I came back because it's time I stopped running from it." That line hits hard, not just for the characters, but for every viewer who's followed this story through heartbreak and healing. What's beautiful about Episode 2 is that it doesn't rush forgiveness. It doesn't offer quick answers. Instead, it gives us moments, quiet glances, half-finished conversations, and that familiar Heartland warmth that says life may be hard, but love is always worth fighting for. There's a dinner scene where everyone sits at the table together for the first time in years. The tension is thick, but when Jack raises his glass and says, "To family, even when it's messy," you can feel the unity slowly returning. The cinematography, as always, carries half the emotion. The golden light, the horses running free, the mountains standing tall in the distance, it all feels symbolic. Nature itself seems to welcome this return, as if the land remembers what the family has forgotten, that Heartland has always been about second chances. By the final act, the episode builds to a quiet but powerful resolution. Amy finally finds the courage to say what's been buried inside her for years. "You hurt us, but you were always a part of us." It's raw, it's real, and it's exactly what fans have been waiting to hear. The returning character doesn't defend himself. He just nods, eyes full of regret and relief. It's not forgiveness yet, but it's a start. The episode closes with a sunset, that signature Heartland ending that feels like a deep breath after an emotional storm. Amy stands on the porch, Lindy in her arms, watching the light fade. The truck is still parked by the fence, proof that he's not leaving this time. The background music swells, soft and hopeful, as the camera pans out over the ranch, and that's where Heartland does what it does best. leaving us both heartbroken and hopeful at the same time. Episode 2 isn't just about a comeback. It's about confronting the past, reclaiming love, and learning that healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means finding the courage to begin again. Asterisk when the credits rolled on episode 2. Fans weren't just emotional, they were speechless. For years, Heartland has been about loss, resilience, and family. But this moment, this return, felt like something bigger. It wasn't only about one character stepping back into the story. It was about the entire Heartland legacy coming full circle. Viewers flooded social media with posts like, "I can't believe this just happened," and "It finally feels like the old Heartland again." And honestly, they're right. Episode 2 reminded everyone why they fell in love with the show in the first place. The warmth, the heartbreak, and the promise that no matter how dark things get, there's always light waiting over the hills. But let's dig deeper. What does this really mean for the story moving forward? This return changes everything for Amy since losing Ty. Her journey has been one of quiet strength, a woman trying to rebuild her life, piece by piece. While raising her daughter and holding on to the values that Heartland was built on, she's learned to be independent, to lead the ranch, and to heal through her work with horses. But with this person's return, that strength is about to be tested in a whole new way. It's not about rekindling an old flame or rewriting the past. It's about emotional confrontation. For Amy, this could be the chapter where she truly forgives, not just others, but herself. For years, she's carried guilt, pain, and questions that never had answers. This return gives her the chance to face all of that. Fans are already theorizing that this season will focus heavily on emotional closure, not only for Amy, but for the entire Heartland family. Jack, the rock of the ranch, will likely find himself torn. He's always believed in second chances, but he also knows that trust isn't easily rebuilt. Viewers love Jack because he's wise but human. He's made his share of mistakes, and that's why his guidance hits so hard. His reaction to the return in episode 2 says it all. Cautious hope mixed with deep emotion. Some fans think Jack will become the bridge between the past and the future, helping both sides find their way back to each other. Then there's Lou. Her role in this emotional storm might surprise us. As the one who always tries to fix things, Lou might struggle with letting go of control. This return could challenge her leadership, her patience, and her ability to separate logic from emotion. And for Tim, it's even more personal. His past decisions have always haunted him, and this comeback could dig up feelings he's tried to bury for years. Heartland has always been about facing your history, no matter how painful it is. And episode 2 sets that theme in motion perfectly. Beyond the storylines, though, there's something deeply emotional happening in the fandom. Many viewers grew up with Heartland. They watched it as kids, then as teens, and now as adults, carrying those same lessons about love, grief, and family through their own lives. So, when a beloved face returns, it doesn't just feel like a TV moment. It feels personal. It feels like reconnecting with an old friend you thought you'd lost forever. That's why this episode hits so hard. It's not just about who came back. It's about what it symbolizes. Redemption. Closure. The idea that even after everything, you can still come home. Heartland has always told us that healing doesn't happen all at once. It's quiet, it's messy, and it's full of small steps forward. This return fits perfectly into that message. Now, let's talk theories, because fans are buzzing with them. Some believe this character's return will tie into a new mystery connected to the ranch. Maybe a family secret or a promise left unfulfilled. Others think it could spark a major turning point for Amy, pushing her toward a new purpose beyond horses, maybe even a new chapter in love. There's also speculation about Lindy's future. With this return, she might finally learn more about where she comes from, giving her story more emotional depth than ever before. And what about the title, He's Finally Back? It's loaded with meaning. The show's writers don't pick words lightly. That title suggests not just a return, but a restoration. Something lost being found again. In Heartland, everything is about the land, the family, and the ties that never break. This return reminds us that even when someone's gone, their presence still lingers in the ranch and the horses, and in the hearts of those who love them. What's truly remarkable is how the episode manages to balance nostalgia with progress. It honors the past without getting trapped in it. We're reminded of early seasons, the long rides through golden fields. Amy's quiet strength ties memory, but we're also shown how far these characters have come. The return doesn't erase the pain. It redefines it. It gives it purpose. It shows us that the scars left behind aren't signs of weakness. They're proof of survival. The emotional tone of episode 2 leaves fans with one powerful thought. Sometimes, the people who leave aren't gone forever. Sometimes, they circle back when the timing is right, when hearts are finally ready to heal. And that's exactly what this episode represents. It's not a story about going back in time. It's a story about moving forward, together. As fans replay that final scene, the sunset, the truck, Amy standing silently with tears in her eyes, it's impossible not to feel the weight of it all. Hope, grief, and gratitude blend into one perfect moment. It's the kind of storytelling that only Heartland can pull off. Quiet, emotional, and deeply human. This episode doesn't just give us a character's return. It gives us the show's heart back. And for the fans who've held on through every season, every loss, and every triumph, that's the kind of gift that makes every tear worth it. Asterisk. Just when fans thought episode 2 had given them all the emotions they could handle, the episode's final moments and the news that followed left everyone smiling through tears. Because this time, the story doesn't end in heartbreak. It ends with hope. Heartland has officially given fans what they've been waiting for, not just the emotional return of a beloved character, but also confirmation that Season 19 is only the beginning of something much bigger. Yes, the good news is real. CBC has confirmed that Heartland will continue beyond Season 19, with production insiders hinting at new story arcs already in motion. Behind-the-scenes photos and interviews reveal that the cast is more connected than ever. And there's talk of the show exploring the next generation of Heartland, focusing on Lindy, the future of the ranch, and the legacy that Amy and her family have built over 2 decades. For longtime viewers, that's more than a renewal. It's a promise that Heartland's spirit isn't fading anytime soon, but the emotional high doesn't stop there. The cast themselves have shared touching words with fans. Amber Marshall, who plays Amy, said in a recent interview, "This season feels like a homecoming. We've all grown up with Heartland, both on and off screen. Episode 2 was deeply personal. It felt like welcoming family back home." Those words hit differently when you think about how long fans have walked this journey, nearly 2 decades of stories, losses, and love set against the backdrop of Alberta's wild beauty. And that's what makes this good news even more special. Heartland isn't just surviving, it's thriving. The return of a key character isn't just nostalgia. It's a signal that the writers are ready to explore deeper, richer, and more emotional storytelling once again. Fans have always loved Heartland because it's real. It doesn't rely on flashy drama or cliffhangers. It focuses on life as it is. Complicated, painful, but always worth living. Episode 2 reminds us that healing isn't linear, and that family, chosen or blood, is the thread that holds everything together. In the closing montage of the episode, we see Amy leading Lindy out into the open fields at sunrise. The returning character is nearby, helping Jack mend a fence, both men silent but at peace. Lou stands on the porch watching her family come together again, the morning light spilling across the ranch. And then softly, Amy's voice narrates, "Every ending is just a new beginning we didn't see coming." It's a line that captures the entire essence of Heartland: resilience, renewal, and endless hope. This episode, paired with the news of Heartland's continuation, feels like a love letter to the fans who never gave up. Through every heartbreak, every goodbye, and every long Canadian winter, they've held on, believing that someday the story would find its way back to the warmth it started with. And now it has. So, as Season 19 continues, one thing is clear: Heartland isn't done teaching us about love, forgiveness, and second chances. The ranch will see new stories, new faces, and maybe even new beginnings for the characters we've grown to love. But at its core, it will always be about one simple truth. No matter how far we go, home will always be waiting. And that's the magic of Heartland. It doesn't just tell stories, it heals hearts. So if this episode made you cry, smile, or feel a spark of hope, you're not alone. Because just like Amy said, some journeys never really end. They just come full circle.